22 handcrafted suits absolutely free now through Sunday at Joseph A. Bank.
For the store nearest you, visit josbank.com. Joseph A. Bank, your tuxedo rental headquarters with 39 New York area locations.
New York's first FM all-news station.
I think it's awesome that you guys have news on FM also.
I love it. FM News 101.9.
This is New York's one and only FM all news station, 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. FM News 101.9. Good afternoon. It's a rainy 3:30. I'm Hilarie Barsky.
I'm Paul Cavalconte, and here's what's happening right now. All My Children is graced television for the last time.
Miss Kane?
Yes.
Your table's right this way.
Thank you.
Adam, you're looking lovely tonight, man.
Hey, I think that waiter deserves an extra tip. I recognize that voice. That's one of our guys.
Yeah, it certainly is.
We'll talk about that in a moment. Well, we're also saying goodbye to the Pine Valley. Same-sex schools are in the spotlight. It's because they might be bad for your kids. Fall is here, so what hats are best for the cool season? It is 70 degrees, and it is spritzing in New York. Lots of puddles and floods everywhere. Your complete FM News 101.9 weather forecast is coming up on the 5s.
FM News 101.9 time is 3:31. All My Children said bye-bye, going off the air after 41 years, and die-hard fans will be left missing their favorite characters in Pine Valley. Well, it turns out that one of FM News' very own left a lasting impression when he made an appearance on the show.
All right, Susan Lucci, you may have played Erica Kane for 40 years, but really, does that match up to FM News anchor Brett Larson's guest appearance? I think not. So, do you remember who the Pine Valley Boathouse maitre d' was back in 2009?
Yes, I do. I remember him.
What was his name? Do you remember?
Brett Larson?
Was there ever a favorite character that you had on the show?
He was the boathouse maitre d', Brett Larson.
Oh, you remember him?
Yeah.
Was he good or how was he?
He was okay.
Oh, yeah, that one with the boathouse with Brett Larson, that was absolutely incredible. That was the best episode.
I mean, really, you can't make this stuff up. Brianna Venozzi, FM News.
I thought that was Brett Larson, that maitre d'. Did he get an Emmy for that? I have to get him back in. I want to know if he got an Emmy for his performance.
Extra tip. Hey, all schools, all girls, all boys, well, it doesn't necessarily provide a better learning environment, and that's the finding of a new study from Penn State researchers. The study also finds that same-sex schools tend to limit a child's job aspirations. Lynn Libben is the lead author.
Anything that increases gender stereotypes about occupations or activities, I think, ultimately can have an effect on what children end up doing and what kinds of choices they have.
Now, despite the study, it's a known fact that Nancy Pelosi, first female Speaker of the House, Condoleezza Rice, first female National Security Advisor, both are graduates of all-girls schools.
And Hilarie Barsky.
Yeah, come on now.
I am so glad about this. Willow, the cat, is back with her family. They've been reunited after the cat went missing for 5 years. All right, the feline disappeared from her Colorado home and was recently found on a Manhattan street. How she arrived in the Big Apple is still a mystery. I read somewhere that Willow went on a plane with somebody, that they adopted them, and there's a whole backstory. But a man brought her to Animal Care and Control in New York, and luckily Willow was microchipped, as is my cat, and all of yours should be as well. And the owners were contacted, and Julie Bank of New York's Animal Care and Control says that this story only proves just what I was saying, how important it is to microchip a pet. They don't think you should do that with cats, but some of them do wander, and they go out in the fields, and there you go. This is a great story. They're back together.
Yeah, 5 years is a lot in cat years. I don't know what it is in dog years, but,
What is it, like 200 years?
Exactly.
FM News 101.9 time is 3:34. Your traffic and weather in a minute.
Hi, this is Bill Carroll for Blue Tax. Do you owe money to the IRS or state? Not a good feeling, is it? Terrifying feeling. You might have money in offshore accounts, or maybe you just haven't filed your taxes in 15 years. What's wrong with you? Well, now you're in trouble. The IRS maybe is contacting you. They're garnishing your wages, or they're about to. I'll tell you what, they're going to do whatever they can to take that money. They're going to get it, unless you call Blue Tax. Then they will confront the IRS so you don't have to. They can resolve your wage garnishment in most times before payday and stop most bank levies within 4 48 hours. If you owe $25,000, $50,000, even hundreds of thousands to the IRS or the state, you need Blue Tax's team of tax attorneys and enrolled agents. They can resolve your case and try to stop any legal action before it gets started. They'll sit down and negotiate a settlement on your entire tax debt so you will pay way less than you owe. Make the free confidential call for details on your case right now. 800-487-7009. 800-487-7009. Again, 800-487-7009. Or visit bluetax.com.
FM News 101.9 traffic and weather on the 5s. First stop, the Bronx. Bumper-to-bumper traffic on the Major Deegan Expressway northbound from Yankee Stadium up towards 179th Street, all because of a left lane accident. Southbound jammed Fordham Road to the Cross Bronx. Both sides, north and south, slow, transitioning onto the Cross Bronx. And speaking of the Cross Bronx, we're bumper-to-bumper for 5 miles from the Bruckner right on through to the George Washington Bridge. Also, some high-standing water on the Hutchinson River Parkway southbound coming into Pelham Parkway. It's passable, but you have to use extreme care through the area. In Manhattan, northbound on the FDR Drive, bumper to bumper from the 90s up towards the Willis Avenue Bridge. Broken down car blocks the right lane. Stay slow on the Harlem River Drive, basically right up to the George Washington Bridge. Northbound West Side Highway slows 90s up to the GW Bridge. Now, let's talk about the George Washington Bridge, because as you make your approach, especially for the outbound upper level, we're going to see some delays because of some minor flooding under the apartments. Lower level not having that issue. Citybound doing fine on both levels. Lincoln Tunnel 20 minutes leaving the city. Citybound okay. Holland Tunnel 20 minutes in both directions. In New Jersey, Route 3 westbound at Route 21 in Clifton, flooding takes out the left lane, and 280 eastbound, the exit 16 in Harrison, a broken down car takes out the left lane of travel. Mike Barker, FM News 101.9 traffic on the 5s.
FM News 101.9 weather on the 5s. Thunderstorms in spots all through the afternoon. Watch for flash flooding. Humid with rain tonight. Any additional rain can lead to flooding problems. We'll have a low of 66 degrees. Tomorrow, humid with rain, high 75, low 67. Sunday, warm and humid. Occasional rain and drizzle, high 79, low 68. Where's September? Monday, clouds with sun, couple of showers possible. Humid, high 77. Ditto for Tuesday with a low of 60 degrees at night. Right now, 70 degrees. And a mix of precipitation throughout our area. FM News 101.9 time is 3:37. Your traffic and weather on the 5s. Next report at 3:45.
I'm Therese Crowley, FM News. And what is your inner voice? Well, you know how you're lost without your GPS and a little voice inside says, go left. It's the voice that helps you know, who am I? And what do I want? And how do I express that in the world? And what if the world isn't acting right? It's about practical spirituality. I'm Therese Crowley. Join me for your inner voice on FM News.
FM News 101.9.
FM News
101.9.
FM News 101.9 time is 3:38. Good afternoon. I'm Hilarie Barsky. The mother of Natalie Holloway doesn't think her daughter is dead. Beth Holloway will fight a petition to declare the missing Alabama teen legally dead. The petition was filed by her ex-husband, Dave. Natalie vanished in Aruba 6 years ago, and Dave claims that because Natalie has not been seen or heard from, there's no reason to believe she is alive. Beth Holloway says that she had no idea her ex-husband was going to do such a thing.
So you go into the subway, you settle in and get a nice comfortable seat. You start whipping out all of these expensive gadgets and playing with them. What are you, nuts? Come on. Underground crime is up in the subways almost 17%. The NYPD says theft of electronics is the main problem. Violent assaults are supposed to be down by 7%, but we got a slasher loose on the 4 train, a groper and a thief armed with a knife on the F train, and that's just in the last 2 days. And boy, does your smartphone or iPod look appetizing to some ne'er-do-well waiting for you on some subway sometime soon.
It sure does. The MTA also says you'll be able to use your cell phones at underground subway platforms starting on Tuesday. Imagine that. But just like with everything, there's a hitch.
If you have T-Mobile or AT&T, you'll be one of the lucky few to call, text, or email your way around the undergrounds. Sprint and Verizon users will have to wait.
Yeah, it doesn't make a lot of sense. I have Verizon.
Typical MTA, in my opinion.
6 underground stations in Chelsea will be outfitted, but you can only use it on the platforms and mezzanines.
It would be nice if they had it in the tunnels just in case of an emergency. So, I mean, you got to start somewhere.
And the rest of the 277 stations will have to wait until 2016.
Pretty small pilot for New York City to just only unveil it in Chelsea.
Brianna Venozzi, FM News.
I guess there's a lot of people at Chelsea chomping at the bit to talk on their phones.
Mm-hmm.
FM News 101.9 time is 3:40.
With your family, Joanne Jeanette, FM News. The Pledge of Allegiance in your kid's school. How do you feel about it? You know that line, one nation under God? It wasn't even added to the pledge until 1954. As a mom, it doesn't really bother me, but I wanted to know how you feel.
I think for any of those people who are atheists, that's fine, but they did it when they were kids, and it's tradition.
You know, my dad served in World War II, so to me it's, well, the topic seems to come up every few years, probably around election time, so I think it's just overblown.
I personally have a problem with it, yes. Because not everybody is religious and believes in God. You look at the courtroom and it'll say that I'm above the courtroom, or you see it on money or license plates. I can believe in my pencil in this country. Doesn't matter. So why is it on our money?
And to the Facebook, for which it friends, one nation, OMG, indivisible, with liberty and Jonas for all.
With your family, Joanne Jeanette, FM News.
It's Vinnie Marino, and I am backstage at the Palace Theater, where Priscilla, Queen of the Desert, is now playing. I'm in the dressing room of Nick Adams, and Nick plays Adam in the show. Now, Nick, this character is so way over the top. He must be so much fun to play every night.
I've never been in a show that's so comedic before, and especially this role is just, I get to make people laugh for 2 hours, so what's more fun than that?
But it works, and I think this is the kind of show where it's impossible to leave not having had a wonderful time.
Thank you. And I've never been in a show where they're on their feet screaming by the end of the night, and to see people in the audience rooting for these characters that they might have maybe questioned that lifestyle or what, the drag community or them being gay. I think by the end of it, you see them rooting for us, so they kind of put that aside and accept us for being people. And, anybody can relate to being different or feeling like an outcast. So I think it's a good message.
Priscilla, Queen of the Desert at the Palace Theater. I'm Vinnie Marino, FM News.
I'm meteorologist Scott Derrick, your weather geek. I'm not some fake Hollywood personality. I'm like you, real, born and raised in the area. I know from experience how the weather affects us, what places flood more than others, and which places always get the jackpot snowfall. For weather on the fives, weather you can understand, for weather whenever it happens. You can count on FM News 101.9.
FM News 101.9. New York's first FM all-news station. FM News 101.9.
Time is 3:42. They're popping up more and more in stores. Fall and winter hats. And it's a trend this year towards a mix of masculine and feminine. Hats that look like men's hats, not men without hats. Had to get that in. But they have accents, colors, and materials that soften them and make them a little more ladylike. Think cashmere and camel hair. Maybe add in a little ribbon like Michael Kors, and the winter lines and previews are looking like that.
Never wear your hat towards the back of your head, kind of like a halo, because what your forehead's going to end up doing is rubbing on the underside of the felt. Once makeup is in felt, if you don't immediately start brushing it out, then it'll set in.
And take your time shopping. Try on a few. When you pick one, make sure you get it well fitted so it's snug and it stays where it's supposed to, but not so snug that it gives you a headache or leaves lines across your head when you take it off.
I know guys wear hats as well.
I love hats. I'm a hat man.
I'm a ball cap person, but I did wear a rain hat today.
I got picked on when I was a teenager for wearing fedoras. Now all the hipsters want to wear them.
Exactly. Oh, you're so cool, Paul. FM News 101.9 time is 3:44. Your traffic and weather in a minute.
So I have this old reel of Super 8 film from the 80s of me, my brother, and the neighborhood kids in this Subaru half-truck, half-dune buggy thing. We'd always cram in way too many of us and just take off through someone's field, kicking up mud and having a blast. And we went everywhere in that thing. The lake, summer camp, football games. I suppose that's why I drive a Subaru today. Because with every dirt road and fly-by-the-seat-of-my-pants trip that I take, that old Super 8 movie plays in my head. I can't help but think, Mom was right. I really did need a haircut.
At Subaru, we like to think we're building great stories as much as great vehicles. Every model has symmetrical all-wheel drive, is an IIHS top safety pick, and is built in a zero landfill plant. But love is more than the vehicle. It's all the things you can do with it. Love. It's what makes a Subaru a Subaru. Find yours at Subaru.com.
News 101.9, traffic and weather on the 5. Let's talk about the Hudson River. Lincoln Tunnel leaving the city about a 20-minute delay with the exception of one approach. That's the 11th Avenue approach. That's only about 5 to 10. City-bound, we're doing fine. Holland Tunnel about 15 to 20 minutes on either side of the Hudson. George Washington Bridge going back to New Jersey on the approach to the upper level under the apartments. Some high-standing water. It is passable, but it is really causing some big delays in the Bronx. On the Cross Bronx, right back to the Bruckner. Major Deacon Expressway northbound at 179th Street, an accident being cleared. Also in the Bronx, Bronx River Parkway northbound closed at the Westchester County line. That is because of flooding with bumper-to-bumper delays back towards Gun Hill Road. In Manhattan, northbound on the FDR Drive, very slow from the 80s up towards the Willis Avenue Bridge. Broken down car takes out the right lane. This report a service of your local Hyundai dealer. There's no better time than now to get your own Hyundai, like the Sonata, for just $199 a month. Only at your local Hyundai dealer. For lease details, call 877-216-4114. 877-216-4114. Mike Barker, FM News 101.9, traffic on the 5s.
FM News 101.9 weather forecast. Heavy traffic, heavy rain on a Friday afternoon. Not a good combination. Of flood watch in effect tonight. That runs right through tomorrow evening. Will stay very humid tonight with periods of rain. Some heavy enough for more street and highway flooding. Also fog. A low temperature 68 degrees. The rain itself will taper to a couple of showers tomorrow. High 75. Still a couple of showers in the area Sunday. Otherwise, clouds, maybe a few sunny breaks. And Sunday's high 79. Central Park at 70. It's 70 in Southampton. Also 70 in Arlington. I'm meteorologist Bob Larson with traffic and weather on the 5s on FM News 101.9, the station with the most meteorologists on FM. Your next weather update at 3:55.
FM News 101.9.
FM News 101.9, time is 3:47. Good afternoon. I'm Hilarie Barsky. The top stories that we're talking about this hour. The world says farewell to Pine Valley. Our own Brett Larson remembers his one-time walk-on role as the Pine Valley Boathouse Maitre d' on All My Children. It was a role he was ready for, but 5 lines he hadn't quite gotten down.
Miss Kane?
Yes.
Your table's right this way.
Thank you.
You're looking lovely tonight, ma'am.
Thank you. Thank you.
I'm not Adam. Wait, I thought that you're Ryan. Up. Okay. Oh, whoa, sorry.
Well, he certainly wasn't ready for his close-up. But before it went to air, he got it right. His one-time performance didn't get him much more than a $4 royalty check. And a don't call us, we'll call you thing. Separating boys and girls in the classroom may not be the best way to learn. A new paper out today says keeping the sexes apart in schools is misguided and justified by weak evidence. Students who attend single-sex schools are no better educated than those who learn in a co-ed environment. Researchers also say that students in boys or girls-only schools are more likely to accept gender stereotypes than their co-ed counterparts. And what do you think about the No Child Left Behind law? A lot of parents really hated it. So did teachers and even school districts. So now the president is making sweeping changes to the Bush-era education bill. With the changes, states can develop their own plans to fix failing schools.
Keep in mind, the change we're making is not lowering standards. We're saying we're going to give you more flexibility to meet high standards.
The requirement that every student must pass state standardized tests is no more. President Obama says it all managed to do was get teachers to teach the test. Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu spoke to the United Nations General Assembly today following the speech by Palestinian President Abbas asking for statehood for his country. Netanyahu said his wish is for peace with the Palestinians.
I extend my hand to the Palestinian people, with whom we seek a just and lasting peace.
Palestinian's president has formally asked the United Nations to recognize a Palestinian state in the West Bank, the Gaza Strip, and East Jerusalem. In doing so, Abbas is defying U.S. and Israeli opposition. FM News 101.9, time is 3:50.
I'm Victoria Keelan, and these are my favorite finds from the world of fashion and beauty. Ah, the fall. The most wonderful time of the fashion year. I know it seems a little early to think about fall clothes, but now is the time you must get out there and start shopping. I've always felt that the most important staple in any fall wardrobe is a great coat. So here's what you can expect to find in stores. The runways were filled with coats that were so long they almost skimmed the ground. Some were Victorian-esque, think of like an updated Kate Winslet in Titanic, and others were very modern, sleek, and menswear inspired. Now, in my honest opinion, I would try this trend out on a cheaper level. Hit up H&M and Zara for these coats. I don't think this is a trend that will stick around, and there's nothing worse than paying a lot of money for a great coat that's too trendy to even get a second season out of it. With my favorite finds, I'm Victoria Keelan, FM News.
Are the high costs of dental fees preventing you and your family from seeing a dentist? Did you know you can now save up to 50% on costly dental fees? How? By joining Dental Save, the country's oldest cooperative dental plan. Thousands of area dentists participate. That means there's one near you. For as little as $8 a month, here's what you get. Savings up to 50% on all general dental work. Save on specialty work such as braces, bonding, bleaching, and more. There's even a free initial examination. No deductibles, no claim forms, no insurance company hassles, no pre-existing conditions. You're eligible the day you join. Call 800-576-4935 or go online at dentalsave.com. Our site will answer any questions you may have. Plus, you'll also find the names of every participating dentist, and Dental Save now includes vision, pharmacy, and hearing plans at no extra cost. Protect yourself and your family for just $8 a month. Call 800-576-4935 or go online at dentalsave.com.
FM News. FM News 101.9.
FM News
101.9.
FM News 101.9. Time is 3:51. I'm Paul Cavalconte. And Netflix's decision to change its DVD by mail service to an online movie streaming service called Quickster is making a lot of people mad. So much so there's even a song about it.
All the stupid pics I get from Netflix, $18 is a ton with Redbox Hot One. All the stupid things you could have done, Netflix has done. I have done until you get porno.
So props to Foster the People. All right, the song is called the Netflix Fail Song. It's by the Break Originals. They use Foster the People's tune Pumped Up Kicks. It's already got more than 10,000 hits on YouTube. Netflix recent changes had only hurt the company. The company's stock plunged after they announced they expect 1 million fewer subscribers by the end of the third quarter. They even raised subscription fees from $10 to over $15. Now, too bad that Donald Trump isn't involved to tell whoever's ideas the...
You're fired.
And just wait till somebody does a Facebook parody to Pumped Up Kicks, huh?
Well, do you have a man cave?
I certainly do.
A lot of guys do. Having that man cave in your basement could actually help your home's resale value. Imagine that. That's what an economist based in Alabama says. She claims no matter how crazy you get in decorating the man cave, and I would like to know what's on your walls, there's always someone else who will share that craziness. And they say it's going to boost up the sale of your house.
Yeah, well, the only problem is I got to take everything that's in my man cave out of it when I sell, because it's like, a million records, and hi-fi equipment stuff, icky stuff like that.
Even the word hi-fi.
Yeah, exactly.
Turntables?
Oh, totally. That's what a man cave is for.
Mm-hmm.
Your iPod goes in your shirt pocket. Your turntable goes in the man cave. That's how it works, Hilarie.
Do you have a little wet bar there, too?
Yes. Yeah. We want to be sipping some cocktails with all that jazz from back when.
If you're going to sell your house, now you know that it's worth something even more because of Paul's man cave. FM News 101.9. Time is 3:54. Your traffic and weather coming up in a minute.
Now at the Home Depot, buy any bag of Scott's Turf Builder Winter Guard fertilizer, and we'll throw in a gallon of Ortho Home Defense Max Insect Killer worth over $7 free. Your lawn will be protected all winter, and when spring arrives, a greener, healthier yard will too. A great lawn in the spring starts in the fall with Scott's Winter Guard fertilizer and a free gallon of Ortho Home Defense Max. More saving, more doing. That's the power of the Home Depot. Valid through October 5th, U.S. only. See store for details.
That is the metaphorical sound of you hitting your head against the wall in your search for the perfect brand new car. Let's chalk it up to the fact that you didn't know Autotrader.com even had new cars. See, Autotrader.com lets you compare new cars side by side, even special offers, so your head and heart can both get what they want. Say your heart wants a sporty 2011 coupe, but your head wants the best deal in town. Bingo! a never-been-owned-before coupe that your head and heart can both agree on. Autotrader.com, now the ultimate new car marketplace.
FM News 101.9 traffic and weather on the 5s. Well, the UN General Assembly still looking at some bad gridlock on certain east side avenues. 2nd Avenue among them, jammed up from the lower 60s right on down through the 40s, and the worst of that far and away down through the mid 40s. 3rd Avenue jammed uptown through the 20s, 30s, 40s, and 50s, and much like 2nd Avenue, it's a tough crawl through the 40s. Lexington Avenue through the 50s and 40s on the slow side as well. FDR Harlem River Drive heading northbound, jammed 90s to the Willis Avenue Bridge. Broken down car takes out the right lane. Stays heavy right up and onto the George Washington Bridge. West Side Highway getting out of town, heading northbound, jam 90s right up to the GW Bridge. In the Bronx, Major Deegan northbound at 179th Street. Left lane currently out of service. That is because of an accident being cleared. In Westchester County, Taconic northbound at the Sawmill and Hawthorne, it's an accident along the left side of the roadway. Northbound Bronx River Parkway at Oak Street in Mount Vernon, that is completely closed because of flooding. Also flooding issues on the Hutchinson River Parkway northbound near the Cross County Parkway, and southbound between the Cross County and the New York City line. All lanes are knocked out because of flooding. New England Thruway, definitely the better way to head north or south through Westchester. This report is service of the Lincoln Summer Exclusive Event. See your local Lincoln dealer for exceptional offers. Mike Barker, FM News 101.9 traffic on the 5s.
Your FM News 101.9 weather. For today, a thunderstorm in spots. Very heavy at times. And you also need to watch for flash flooding with highs around 76 degrees. Now for tonight, it's going to be humid. It's just a mess. Any additional rain can lead to flash flooding and flooding problems all over the tri-state area with lows around 66 degrees. Tomorrow, more rain, more humidity with highs around 75 degrees. Currently, it is 70 degrees. Your next FM News 101.9 weather coming up on the 5s.
FM News 101.9. Hello.
FM News 101.9, time is 3:57. Okay, time to play one of the greatest hits from the Man Cave. It was 20 years ago today. No, not the Beatles. No, we're talking Nirvana and the groundbreaking grunge album Nevermind. It's 20th anniversary this weekend. If you grew up with it, it's hard to believe that 20 years have passed.
Wow, 20 years.
Since ripped jeans, grungy guitars, scraggly hair, and blank stares became the new pop culture. And in the 2 decades since Nevermind, the music industry has been upended. The way we consume music has totally changed forever. Because back then, you made mixtapes on cassette, right?
That's right.
And you requested songs on the radio. How quaint.
Can you please play?
Today, almost everybody carries their entire music collection in their pocket because it's an on-demand world. And I guess the line that sticks from that 20-year-old song is, "Here we are now, entertain us."
Huh.
That's what the whole world is saying.
Kurt Cobain is a shame. I remember seeing him. It was an MTV Unplugged special. And he was tremendous.
It was their finest hour because he really dissolved into the music. And they stopped being a band, that had something to prove, and they were just the music at that point. It was really brilliant.
Another great talent. FM News 101.9 time is 3:58.
Wright's Farm in the Hudson Valley invites families to pick apples and pumpkins, go for a hike or a bike ride, have a picnic with friends, or toss around a football on their grounds. On weekends in October, there will be a corn maze and wagon rides, and there's always access to their sculpture park, hiking trails, and bike paths. Dogs are welcome to join the fun, too. Admission is $10 for adults and $5 for kids, and it includes a bag of apples. Wright's Farm is located in Gardner, New York, and you can get directions at eatapples.com.
Have an idea or invention you would like to market? Perhaps a way of improving an existing product? Call Invention Resource International at 1-800-906-IDEA. People have become millionaires inventing some of the simplest products. Adhesive tape, Band-Aid, Frisbee, hula hoop, kitty litter, liquid paper, pushpins, Q-tips, remote control, and on and on. For years, Invention Resource International has helped inventors and creative thinkers bring their idea or product to market. As a clearinghouse for companies looking for inventions and ideas, Invention Resource International's coast-to-coast computer network can put you in touch with companies and manufacturers seeking new products. Call 1-800-906-IDEA. They'll rush you a free inventor's kit, and there is no obligation. Get all the facts on how to safeguard, develop, and market your idea or invention. Call now 1-800-906-IDEA and use the professional guidance of Invention Resource International. For your free kit, call 1-800-906-IDEA. That's 1-800-906-IDEA.
I'm Elvis Stockton Rossini.
And I'm Dave Packer from Mornings at FM News 101.9.
Wakey, wakey.
Oh, yeah, we get you started 5 to 10 o'clock weekday mornings.
We got the news from around your town, around your block, around the city, around the suburbs, around the world, Dave.
We've got your traffic from around the roads and the weather to let you know what you need to wear when you walk out the door. All on the 5s on New York's only FM all-news station, FM News 101.9.
You always get to do the outros.
I do, don't I?
FM News 101.9.
FM News 101.9.
WEMP and WEMP HD1 New York. FM News 101.9.
This is New York's one and only FM all-news station. 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. FM News 101.9. Good afternoon. It's 4 o'clock. I'm Paul Cavalconte.
And I'm Hilarie Barsky, and here's what's happening right now. Keep that umbrella handy. The rain is coming down, and it's making a mess. The lights go dim on all my children.
How does a mother escape a foster facility with 8 kids? They're not prisons. I'm Steve Langford. I'll have that story coming up.
In your traffic center.
Flooding becoming a real issue on your Friday afternoon ride. I am Mike Barker with traffic and weather coming up for you on the 5s.
It's 70 degrees and raining. Your complete FM News 101.9 weather forecast coming up on the 5s.
Well, it's raining, it's pouring. The old man isn't snoring, he's drowning. Heavy rain threatening areas that are still trying to recover from Hurricane Irene and Tropical Storm Lee. There's a flood watch underway right now. It's going to be in effect until tomorrow. There could be as much as 3 inches of rain, maybe even 5 in some places. So make sure you've got your rain boots and your umbrella, and be careful if you're driving on those sleek roads.
And there's a lot of puddles.
And hydroplaning, that's the fancy word for
hydroplaning.
Sleek. Yeah, it's when your tires don't make proper contact with the road because you got water in between.
I know, it's very scary. FM News 101.9 time is 4:02. After a 41-year connection to the residents of Pine Valley, viewers said goodbye to Erica and Bianca and Tad. ABC's All My Children aired its final episode today.
I think that the characters were played out quite a bit, but it was always fun to watch the different machinations and what they went through in their lives. It was relatable some of the time it was pretty absurd.
The network is replacing the soap with a less expensive cooking and lifestyle show called The Chew, starring celebrity chef Mario Batali.
FM News 101.9 time is 4:03, and there is a change, however modest, in the No Child Left Behind Act. President Obama is now allowing states to opt out of some provisions of the Bush education law. Obama says No Child Left Behind had big problems and focused too much on standardized tests.
Teachers too often are being forced to teach to the test. Subjects like history and science have been squeezed out.
The president used an executive order to make the changes. He says Congress had its chance to act and didn't. The change means that not every student must pass state tests, and states can develop their own plans to help students succeed.
Sometimes parents are the last to know when their child is a victim of a bully. So what are the signs to look for? Mark Lewis is a teacher from Acton, Massachusetts, and he is also the former president of GLSEN, the Gay, Lesbian, and Straight Education Network. He says that there are clues parents should keep an eye on.
They start to avoid certain situations, like taking the bus to school or walking a route home that they have normally taken, or going over to someone's house that they've gone to before, or trying to avoid school altogether. Those are red flags.
Parents should be on the lookout for any change in their child's normal behavior, and if you see your child has stopped eating or if they are extra moody, these are signs that your child could be the victim of a bully. FM News 101.9 time is 4:04. Your traffic and weather in a minute.
This is Bill Handel of Handel on the Law. When you start a business or deal with personal legal matters, you have to have the right legal documents. That's simply the way it works. And this is where LegalZoom.com can help. If you're starting a business, you can protect your personal assets by forming a corporation or LLC for only $99. If you want to ensure your family is protected, you can create a legal Zoom will for just $69. Try doing that with a lawyer. To save even more, enter VIP in the referral box at checkout. LegalZoom's documents have been accepted by courts and government agencies in all 50 states. LegalZoom is not a law firm. It provides self-help services at your direction. For LLCs, wills, living trusts, and more, go to LegalZoom.com. And don't forget to save even more by typing VIP in the referral box at checkout. LegalZoom.com. Enter discount code VIP. LegalZoom.com.
FM News 101.9 traffic and weather on the 5s. A full closure on Long Island of the Northern State Parkway westbound right in the area of 106.7. Nasty crash involving a flipped over car. A ton of emergency apparatus now pulling up onto the scene. LIE is a good alternative to a certain extent. We are going to look some overflow traffic heading westbound the LIE, but still a much better ride than the Northern State Parkway. That is for certain. Across the Hudson River, Lincoln Tunnel is about a 20-minute delay leaving the city, and citybound we're still doing okay. Holland Tunnel 20 minutes leaving town, about 10 to 15 on the citybound side. Really not bad either way with the George Washington Bridge. It's getting to the George Washington Bridge. That's the problem. On Manhattan's FDR Drive, Harlem River Drive combination, jammed up northbound from the 90s to the Willis Avenue Bridge. Broken down car, the reason why. The right lane out of service. Stays pretty heavy right up to the GW Bridge, and southbound jam from the 140s right down to the 59th Street Bridge. West Side Highway northbound jam 50s right up to the GW Bridge as well. In Westchester, lots of flooding on the Hutchinson River Parkway northbound near the Cross County, southbound from the Cross County down to the New York City line. Bronx River's underwater northbound at Oak Street in Mount Vernon. And the Taconic, there's an accident northbound in Hawthorne right by the Sawmill River Parkway. There's also some high standing water in the area, but at least it is passable through that stretch. This report is service of Subaru. Mike Barker, FM News 101.9 traffic on the 5s.
FM News 101.9 weather forecast. A flood watch is in effect this afternoon through Saturday evening. It'll be quite humid out there. We'll see showers and thunderstorms across the region. Heavy at times. Watch for flash flooding, high 76. Remaining quite sticky tonight. This is more rain. Any additional rain can lead to more flooding problems, low 66. The humid weather will continue through tomorrow with additional rain, high 75. Warm and humid Sunday, occasional rain and drizzle, high 79. I'm meteorologist Matt Lawrence with traffic and weather on the 5s on FM News 101.9. The station with the most meteorologists on FM. Your next weather updates at 4:15.
I'm Victoria Keelan, FM News, and every day I bring you Victoria's favorite finds, where I hunt down the very best that the fashion and beauty world has to offer. I test out beauty products, spot trends on the runway, and break down what's hot and what's just a hot mess. The way I see it, it's my job to make you look fab at your job. You can hear all my favorite finds at 50 past the hour, only on FM News.
FM News 101.9, New York's first FM all-news station.
FM News 101.9.
FM News 101.9.
New York's first FM all-news station. FM News 101.9.
Time is 4:07. There's still no sign of a Harlem couple and their 8 children kidnapped from a foster care center in Queens earlier this week. Chanel Nadal took the kids while on a supervised visit, but how do you hide 8 kids from the law? How do you make the great escape in the first place?
Did some staff drop the ball in this particular case? Well, I mean, you'd have to say yes.
Legitimate and necessary questions about how and why a desperate mother manages to take her 8 children out of foster care and escape, but not as simple as it all might seem.
Forestdale, the agency where this unfortunately happened, is, I would say, one of the best foster boarding home providers in the city.
Bill Baccalini, CEO of the New York Foundling, which has cared for children in need for nearly a century and a half.
There's a tendency to let folks have more time alone with their children. Now, that doesn't mean that they're ever really out of sight, but you're not sitting right next to them as they're trying to have a conversation with their child.
How to protect the children without turning foster facilities into prisons. Not easy. Steve Langford, FM News.
FM News 101.9 time is 4:09. It was billed as Shine for Lauren, a concert in honor of Lauren Spear, the Indiana University student from Greensburg, New York. Missing since June the 3rd, the concert last night was dedicated to keeping the spotlight on the search for her. Before the music began, students and friends were shown a video that retraced Spear's steps on the day she disappeared. Her father asked once again for anyone who may have any information to find the courage to come forward.
FM News 101.9 time is 4:09. You're not supposed to board airplanes with stun guns and pepper spray in your possession, duh. But that's exactly what a man at JFK Airport did. As a matter of fact, the traveler headed for Saudi Arabia was toting a stun gun, 3 stun batons, a stun pen, and 1 can of pepper spray. He told police the stuff was for personal protection, but he was arrested and charged anyway. There is no suspected link to terrorism.
Well, if you were lucky enough to snag something from the Missoni collection at Target, and a lot of people were out of luck because it went rapid fire, how much do you think you can get for it? Well, a pair of Missoni rain boots is listed on eBay for $31,000. I kid you not. Now, the woman who listed these items says that the proceeds will cover her daughter's first year in college. This is out. Some people can't even fathom this. But what about next year? She has set aside other Missoni items to auction for those tuition payments. $31,000 for rain boots.
Man.
That's a lot. We could use them right now.
I'd consider it on a day like today.
But I wouldn't even think, if you had all that money, would you even pay $31,000 for rain boots?
No, I'd invest in a company that made rain boots that was on the fast track.
He's a smart man. FM News 101.9 time is 4:11.
I'm Brett Larson, FM News with Textiles. You love your digital camera, but hate the process of getting the photos you take onto your computer. You have to find the cable, pop out the card, put it in a reader, and then transfer the photos. Make it even easier with the iFi Connect X2, the newest model from iFi. It's a media card for your camera with Wi-Fi or wireless internet built in. Basically, it connects your camera to your computer without wires, and the newest version will automatically transfer your photos to your computer and organize them by date. You can set it to transfer to any folder you'd like, and if you're a Mac user, import automatically into iPhoto or have it upload to your favorite photo sharing website like Facebook and Picasa. Best of all, it works with any digital camera that takes SD cards, so no need to get a new camera. It sells for $50. With Textiles, I'm Brett Larson, FM News.
Mark Twain once said that the secret of success was making your vocation your vacation. And I can't think of anything I'd rather do than save folks money on their car insurance with Geico. I'm proud to have helped millions of drivers save and save big. Hundreds of dollars a year. Come to think of it, my bosses say I should take a vacation. I'll probably go to the beach, get a little sun, see if anyone needs to save money on their car insurance. There I go again.
For a free rate quote, visit geico.com to see how much you could save. Geico. 15 minutes could save you 15% or more on car insurance.
My wife's monthly trip to the beauty salon was really adding up. I mean, between dyeing her roots and trimming the dead ends, we were going dead broke. So to save some money, I'm cutting it for her. While she sleeps. Shh. No, don't wake up yet. Go to sleep, you're almost gorgeous. Oh, she is gonna love this.
There's an easier way to save. Get online. Go to geico.com. Get a quote. 15 minutes could save you 15% or more on car insurance.
FM News 101.9. Traffic reports you can understand on the fives from FM News 101.9.
It's 4:13, news, traffic, shopping, only on FM News 101.9. I'm Paul Cavalconte. A comedian gets very serious on a daytime talk show.
Comedian Wanda Sykes had breast cancer earlier this year and had a mastectomy. She revealed this on the Ellen DeGeneres show, which you'll be able to see on Monday. Wanda said she went in for a breast reduction, and that's when doctors discovered she had cancer in her left breast. Wanda also said there was a history of breast cancer on her mother's side of the family, so she decided that rather than go back for a lot of tests, she had a double mastectomy, which means there is now no way she can ever have breast cancer. Vinny Marino, FM News.
Well, there's another weight loss pill expected to hit the market in a couple of years, and if it can prove to the FDA that it is in fact safe and free of any cardiac risks. But are you holding out hope for an obesity pill? Registered dietitian and exercise physiologist Dr. Felicia Stoller says there's no quick fix to solving the obesity problem.
It's exercise. It's better eating habits and behaviors. It's not necessarily going to be found in a pill.
The drug maker hopes to have this medication on the market in 2014. Meanwhile, Dr. Stoller says slow and steady wins the race. Good old-fashioned diet and exercise will win every time. FM News 101.9 time is 4:14. Your traffic and weather in a minute.
So it was last fall, and I was driving down the
101.9.
FM News 101.9, WEMP.
WEMP HD1 New York.
FM News. Traffic and weather on the 5s. FM News 101.9.
This is New York's one and only FM All News station, 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. FM News 101.9. It's 7 o'clock. Good evening. I'm Catherine Smith.
And I'm Brett Larson. Here's what's happening right now.
People are going to be worried about 2012 in future months, but that's not where my focus is.
In case you didn't recognize the voice, that's Sarah Palin pulling a Chris Christie. She's not running for president in 2012. Lower Manhattan packed with protesters.
The protesters are jamming into Zuccotti Park. There's no way there's room for all these people. I'm Kathleen Maloney on Broadway and Liberty Street.
And the mom of a missing baby girl in Kansas City pleading for her daughter's safety. In the traffic center,
lots of street closures in Lower Manhattan this evening because of the protests going on. I am Mike Barker with traffic and weather coming up for you on the 5s.
68 degrees under mostly clear skies. Your complete FM News 101.9 weather forecast is also coming up on the 5s.
It looks like the Republican presidential field for 2012 is set. First, New Jersey Governor Chris Christie declared that he wasn't throwing his hat in the ring. Now, Sarah Palin says she's out too.
People are going to be worried about 2012 in future months, but that's not where my focus is.
The former Alaska governor released a statement in which she says after much prayer and serious consideration, she decided that she will not be seeking the 2012 GOP nomination for president. As always, she says her family comes first. With Palin and Christie out, Mitt Romney, Rick Perry, and Michelle Bachmann must be breathing a little easier tonight.
That's true. The Occupy Wall Street protesters are back in Zuccotti Park, and they're gaining some support. They've had a lot of support today. Kathleen Maloney's been with them all afternoon, and she's with us now live. Hey, Kathleen.
Well, this protest started at 4:30 with a rally at Foley Square. Foley Square was packed beyond capacity. And the protesters started streaming down Broadway about 5:30. They are still streaming down Broadway. And as I stand at Liberty Street by Zuccotti Park, I cannot see the end of this line. It is incredible, massive. People who are participating in this can't believe it. They say they had hoped for a good turnout, but this is really beyond what they ever expected. People are holding their signs, chanting their causes, but everyone seems to be unified around the fact that 99% of America is feeling some pain in this economy. The protest goes on. At Zuccotti Park, I'm Kathleen Maloney, FM News.
FM News 101.9 times 7:02. The mother of a missing 10-month-old baby girl in Kansas City, Missouri, is pleading for her daughter's life. The infant disappeared from her crib in her home in Kansas City Monday night or early Tuesday morning. The mother of little Lisa Irwin says that whoever snatched the child must bring her back. The father says no questions asked. Just drop off the baby at a fire station, a hospital, a church, any safe place. Police say the parents are not suspects.
FM News 101.9 times 7:03. Amanda Knox is at home in Seattle, and she's been slept at home for the first time after sleeping on a cold cot in an Italian prison for 4 years.
It was an emotional homecoming for Knox.
I'm really overwhelmed right now.
She told the crowd of her supporters it was surreal when she flew in, looking out the window of the plane at Seattle below, a day she thought she might never see.
My family's the most important thing to me right now, and I just want to go and be with them.
Today, her family is asking for privacy. Alex Stone, ABC News, Seattle.
A very eerie day at the trial of Conrad Murray. The voice of the late Michael Jackson was heard. Jackson's family could hear pretty painful tapes in court. The tape played in part during opening statements in the trial of Michael Jackson's doctor. Contains more than just the slurred ramblings of the superstar. It contains Jackson criticizing his family being greedy. Jim Avila says the entire tape will likely be played today to be entered into evidence and is sure to hurt Jackson's family.
The tape itself is being introduced to show that Michael Jackson was in bad condition and that Conrad Murray should have recognized that and gotten him help. This part of the tape that damages his family is really collateral damage. It's damage that has little to do with the case itself, but it's there, it has to be played, and unfortunately his family's going to hear Michael Jackson say some pretty hurtful things.
FM News 101.9 time 7:05.
FM News 101.9 traffic and weather on the 5s. Well, with a large rally and protest going on in Lower Manhattan this evening between Foley Square and Zuccotti Park, we're going to see some closures on Broadway, Lafayette Street, as well as Liberty Street, Chambers and Worth Street, and Center Street and Church Street as well. In addition, the Manhattan-bound Brooklyn Bridge bumper-to-bumper across the span, the off-ramp to Park Row, is closed because of the protest. Head for the Manhattan Bridge or the Williamsburg Bridge instead. In Manhattan's on the West Side Highway, northbound slows 80s up through the 130s. Northbound on the FDR Drive slows from the 70s up through the RFK Triborough Bridge. In the Bronx, delays have eased out nicely on the Cross Bronx and the Major Deegan. Across the Hudson River, Lincoln Tunnel, about 15 minutes going back to New Jersey, about 20 on the city-bound side. George Washington Bridge, still a good ride into and out of the city. Holland Tunnel, 30 back to New Jersey, only about 5 minutes on the city-bound side. And here's some very good news. Just getting word the Pulaski Skyway all opened up now between Newark and Jersey City after an earlier accident before the Tunnel East Circle. So very slow right across the span. So for the time being, head for truck route 1 and 9, or maybe better yet, you might want to fork over that extra change you have and head for the Newark Bay Extension. This report, a service of Subaru. Mike Barker, FM News 101.9 traffic on the 5s.
FM News 101.9 weather. Well, the winds are already starting to settle down this evening. It'll be clear and chilly overnight with a low 42 in many suburbs to 49 in Midtown. Sunshine tomorrow. A breezy and cooler day than today. We'll have a high of 66. Still pretty nice. Clear and chilly tomorrow night. We'll drop to 49 in Midtown and 40 in the suburbs. And plenty of sunshine. A pleasant day Friday for early October with a high 67. But we're going to warm into the 70s this weekend. It's 66 in the Park, 67 in Flushing, and 64 in Hampton Bays. I'm meteorologist Jack Bosson with traffic and weather on the 5s on FM News 101.9. Your next report at 7:15.
I'm Janiko Solda with Your Wallet. When it comes to money, it's about spending smarter. I've got the tips to help you pick a credit card, get a mortgage.